All right, so we're back here on another Couch Coach Live Super Week edition. Uh, Tonight we'll be talking about the Los Angeles Rams, the NFC champions, and I got my good friend, my guy Jonathan Mathis, aka the Sports Judge, joining me now. And this preview is powered by the folks at Goalie. Head over to goalie.com. Use my promo code Couch Coach. Get yourself 10% off. And further ado, let's bring in our guy Jonathan in the frame. What's going on, Jonathan?
Hey, what's going on with you, Coach? Man, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of you. I'm a huge fan. I love your stuff. I love your content. You have great content. And that introduction was fire, man. I love it. I love it. I love the energy you bring as well.
It's Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks. Appreciate it. And hey, man, glad that you're here. Hey, we got, the LA Rams, now the home team in Super Bowl 56, potential, in this situation. And wow, and setting the stage up to be at SoFi by far, my goodness, like one of the most beautiful stadiums ever. Like, my goodness, yeah. So yeah, we are here. So man, we definitely let's just talk about initially the journey to get here at Super Bowl 56, just the season, and just even just this whole journey altogether.
Well, they had some encouraging moments this season. It showed in some games. They beat up on Tom Brady twice. This season, there was times where their weaknesses looked like they had been exposed, and at some points in the season, they didn't look like the team as advertised. So it's been one of those journeys where they had to find themselves again, and they had to establish an identity for themselves. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact, too, that they had abandoned the running game. You've seen in recent weeks that the Rams have made progress throughout the course of the season and throughout the playoffs because Sean McVay went back to the run game, which is a huge strength for that Rams offense. So I think that all made the difference as well. But it's been an incredible journey. It's definitely been one that's been exciting for Matthew Stafford. I mean, he's never been in a situation like this one. He finally had all the pieces in place around him, had a lot of weapons that he could work with. There was a wall in front of him that can protect him better than the one he had in Detroit. So it made a huge difference for him coming over to LA, and he has seized the moment and he has embraced it. And look where it's gotten them to. I mean, they're in the Super Bowl. I mean, how big is that? It can't get any better than that. So the journey has been an interesting one. It would be even better if they can finish it off with a Super Bowl win. And I think they can because they're a well-balanced team. They have all the playmakers to do so. Their offense is loaded. Their defense is stacked. Their defense is boisterous. Their run game is pretty steady. I think you go to you would have to go to a guy like Shunny Michelle more. I know we'll get into that as the show goes on because I know you wanted to focus on their journey, but their journey has been simply magical for a team that is looking to take care of unfinished business because remember, they were in the Super Bowl not too long ago, and now they're back, and this was their whole goal. This is why they, went all in this offseason and during the regular season to play a Super Bowl in their own building.
Yeah, and pretty much sacrifice all your draft picks. So exactly, you're right about that. Yeah.
They certainly did sacrifice their draft capital. So that tells you everything you need to know is that they want to win now.
Yep, and they really don't even need the draft picks. Honestly, at this point, there's so much depth that they have. But yeah, big time. So in this matchup, obviously, you're going against the Cincinnati Bengals. So what do you see as far as some weaknesses that you could potentially exploit against Cincinnati?
One of Cincinnati's glaring weaknesses, and I think this is their biggest one, is their offensive line. If you watch Bengals games, you can see all the work that Joe Burrow has to put in. It's always survival mode for him. He's always trying to evade pressure. He's good at it, because he's a mobile quarterback. So he has the ability to extend plays. But when you look at that Rams defensive front and their pass rusher, Aaron Donald, I mean, it's going to be a tough afternoon for you if your offensive line can't hold steady. And that's been a huge issue for the Bengals. So I think that's one weakness that the Rams can exploit. And I think they will do that. I think they will expose those weaknesses because you have Aaron Donald that could come off the edge. Don't forget, you have you have Von Miller, who's a good pass rusher as well. He's picked up some steam in recent weeks as well. So you have some guys that can get to the quarterback and put some pressure on Joe Burrow and hurry him and possibly force him into making some critical mistakes. And if that happens, then everything looks good for the Rams. Everything works out in their favor. So I think that's the weakness that the Bengals have. And I think if they don't tighten things up on that offensive line, because that's where they need to, that's what they need to address this offseason, by the way. But if they don't tighten things up there in that area, it's going to be a long night in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, big time. I know, but even though been kind of previewing the game just on the early surface, and I look at that where I think obviously against that Kansas City last week, he only got sacked once, but even in those circumstances, he was kind of ducking and dodging out the pocket. But I think that pocket is going to collapse, and I like you said, you know that vicious front four. Then with Von Miller, who was a Super Bowl, and even though that's been moons ago, but that was only really 6 years ago. So he was a Super Bowl MVP. So yeah, major, yep, big time. So, so any individual matches that you're looking forward to see in this match?
Oh yes, absolutely. The one that stands out is Jalen Ramsey and Jamar Chase. Jalen Ramsey is going to be covering Jamar Chase, and that's the matchup that I'm interested to see. It kind of takes me back to when they played Tampa, and when he switched over to Mike Evans, and it didn't really go Jalen Ramsey's way because he did get smoked. He did get baked. Okay, let's be honest. But it's going to be an interesting matchup to see how well he covers Jamar Chase. We all know how great of a receiver Jamar Chase is. He's an absolute stud. He's ahead of his time. I've said that repeatedly. I think he's an amazing athlete. He has all the tools, and he definitely has the making to be one of the best wide receivers to ever play the game. You see what he's doing early on, and then of course you have Jalen Ramsey, who can take away half of the field. He's good at what he does, and he's gonna have to really be up on his game. And I think he's definitely up for the task. He knows what's at stake here, and he knows the task at hand. And I think he'll be up on it, and keep try to keep Jamar Chase at bay. I mean, I know that's really, really a tough assignment for anybody because, again, we know how explosive Jamar Chase is, and we know how excellent of a route runner he is, and that he can break away from the corner and get out in open field and make a lot of noise, because that's what he's been doing all year. So that's the matchup that I'm interested to see. I think it'll be a great matchup, and I think it'll make for some drama. It would definitely bring some drama to the game and excitement.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's one thing too, where if that matchup, and then the other ones for anything as far as like, that singular matchup, but then also you look at like, T. Higgins and also Boyd as well, like what they'll
Yeah.
do in that circumstance as well, where like you said, it's definitely gonna be those two going at it one-on-one is that's gonna be must-see TV.
Yes.
Yeah, big
Absolutely.
time.
Epic.
Yeah. So let's see what we got here. So let's see. Who do you see as the X factor in this matchup for the Rams?
Oh, I got several players.
Mm-hmm.
I think the game of football is won on offense and defense. More than anything, you need defense, right, to win the game. Without defense, you're absolutely nothing. I don't care how many points you put up on the scoreboard. You need to defend and get some takeaways and force some turnovers. Not even just force some turnovers, just get the stops. So I think one of their X factors is going to be Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is huge for them on defense. If Aaron Donald is as relentless as he was in, chasing down, who's the team they just finished playing? I'm going blank.
Oh, San Francisco. Yeah, the Nemesis. Yeah.
You know how much pressure
Yeah.
he put on Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Now, if he can, duplicate that and play like that again, he's definitely the X factor. Because I think what it comes down to is getting to Joe Burrow. If they could get to Joe Burrow and take him away and force the Bengals to go to Joe Mixon more on the ground, then I think that would make it very difficult for the Bengals to possibly win the football game. That's one of my X factors. So Aaron Donald being huge in the big moment. Another one of my X factors is the secondary. The secondary is going to have to play a lot better than what they have this season. There's times that the secondary has fallen asleep. There's times that they've, just allowed the opposing team to put up so many yards, to make plays down the field. And that can't happen in a game of this magnitude. I mean, because if Joe Burrow's able to break away from the defenders and somehow eludes the pressure that's coming at him, and he makes throws down the field, and the secondary has no answer for it, then it's going to be a long night for you. So the secondary is going to have to play. That's another factor for me. Another factor, this is a big one right here, because, the quarterback is the most important position in football. So it would have to be Matthew Stafford for me. If Matthew Stafford doesn't turn over the football and he plays like he played against San Francisco and throughout the course of the playoffs, because he has peaked at the right time, and if he continues his sustained success going into this game, then that's all good for the Rams. Everything points in the Rams' favor, and that right there is one way they can win the game, by having another excellent performance out of Matthew Stafford. So if he turns in a brilliant performance and he goes out there and he shows up and he makes the plays and he has a good outing, then the Rams should be successful and they should come out with the victory, and by the end of the night be hoisting the Lombardi trophy. Here's another factor. I know I have quite a few.
No, you good. Yeah.
Sony Michel. Give the ball to Sony Michel and let him go to work. Let him run the football. Sony Michel is critical to their success. He's going to be instrumental to that offense, because for one, he knows how to find the gaping hole. He knows how to break tackles. He's very good at running between the tackles. He has great stamina. He has great speed. He has a sense of awareness. And the other great thing about him is that he takes care of the football. You know, we've seen Cam Akers since he's come back, and there's been times that he has struggled with ball security, and the Rams can't have that in the Super Bowl. So, you know, let Sony Michel be the driving force of that run game, and let him do his thing. And those are my X factors.
Yeah, and like you said, and I think, like you said, and I think our run game is definitely effective. In this case, just the fact of, you know, how I think the game could potentially go, where you might need to kind of kill some clock and kind of, pretty much shorten Cincinnati's drives. So big time. Yep. So let's see what we got here. What are your keys to a LA Rams victory?
Get on the scoreboard early. I think that's very important. Set the tone early. Establish the run. You know, on the first series, it should be running plays, because, you know, by establishing the run early, all it does is enable the offense to do more things. You know, then Sean McVay can get more creative because it opens things up. You can run some play action plays. You know, you can make life a lot easier for Matthew Stafford. You know, don't just rely on him to make a pass on every play. You know, and that's what the Rams sometimes they do. They get away from the running game and they want to go through the air all the time. And you got to mix things up. And sometimes you got to utilize that ground game. And if you have a guy like Sony Michel, you got to go to him. So I say establish the run early. Establish the run early. And another key to the game is the defense. The defense getting off the field. Don't stay on the field too long, because you will get exhausted. You will get tired. And then you start to give up yards and give up plays, and bad things can happen. So I think Aaron Donald is going to have to be huge coming off the edge and getting to Joe Burrow, putting a lot of pressure on him, and hope that he makes those mistakes. And if he does, then that gives your offense the ball back, and hopefully come up with some critical turnovers that could give you a short field. That's some of my keys. And then another key is Sean McVay not getting too cute, because we all know that Sean McVay can get too cute, right? And sometimes the Rams this season, they look like cutie pies. I ain't gonna lie. They were out there looking like cutie pies. And it's not all about being cute. It's not all about being cute. You know, you got to take that makeup off, Sean McVay, and you know, beauty ain't everything all the time. Sometimes it's your look on the inside that counts. So the Rams, they just need to stick to the basics and fundamentals, and make smart decisions, and it's going to come down to great play calling, excellent scheming, and good clock management. And if the Rams do all that, those are the keys to victory.
Yeah, big time. Yes, indeed. So I ask you the $1 million question. Prediction. I need a score as well. What you got?
Okay. Since both of these teams have high octane offenses, since they both have high flying offenses, I'm gonna say this is gonna be an offensive game. I know what I said about Aaron Donald and the defense, and how the Rams defense is, but you know, given these two teams, they both can light up the scoreboard. You know, the same way the halftime performers will light up the halftime show. So I mean, I'm gonna have to go with the Rams. I say the Rams by 3, 24-21.
Okay. Nice.
I think that's a fair score.
Yes, and that's gonna be a Matt Gay kick to end it.
I I guess since what we saw last week, yeah, I guess I can say that.
Okay, yeah.
I guess I can say that because hey, it's been that kind of year, right? Where all these
right.
where it's come down to all these game-winning field goals, or not just game-winning field goals, but
Right.
field goals to send the game into overtime. So we've seen that throughout these playoffs. So hey, if it comes down to a field goal, I mean, hey, that's not a bad ending to a game.
Right, and it's funny because because did a Bengals preview earlier, and and shout out to my guy Taylor Cornell, and I asked his question I'm about to ask you as well. So me, like as far as I've really never experienced like a Super Bowl Sunday. Obviously, last time my team won, I was a child. I was 7. So,
Okay, yeah.
like I always like to get in the manner of like, what is your as far as for Sunday, is it like a situation where you're gonna watch the game like with a bunch of people, you have a party? It's gonna be one like, look, I just need to be in a room by myself, or I just need to just focus and it just be in me and my emotions.
Well, since 2006, I haven't really gone to any Super Bowl parties. I don't gather with people for the Super Bowl, and that's mainly because I always write about the Super Bowl. So I'm usually like
Working.
into the game. Like I'm enamored with the game. I'm so focused into the game
Yeah.
that everything else is just blocked out, So I don't usually do Super Bowl parties. I don't usually eat chips, dip and all that stuff. I don't do that because I'm too busy, writing my articles, my commentary. And, when I'm watching a game and I'm covering it or writing about it, I want to focus on every play and I want to be attentive to detail and I don't want to miss a play. So it's very, very important to me. And so I usually just stay confined to a room with the door closed and I'm all locked in on the game.
Yeah. Feel you, yeah. And that it's funny because that's how I am in the regular season mode. Like as far as when it comes to with my team, but like that's why I always just always, especially in these type of moments where like especially hearing it from Taylor perspective from Cincinnati, and then also with you with the Rams perspective, like essentially like how the mood of that, like it's different than most Super Bowls where you're not really you have you like in your case, like you said, you do articles and whatever, but still there's not a vested interest, like as far as like, is that your team? So it's you good, but versus his, like how it's a 50-50 shot. So it's just like
Exactly.
I was like, it's funny, is like and it's one of the things where I'm happy for both of you guys, like as far as just that journey alone, and just being just a simple fact of just getting here and knowing how hard it is to really actually get here, and and it makes all the bad years sweet. It makes everything that has happened prior to the Sunday night's game. It makes it worth it. It make it worth waiting for a moment like for Sunday night.
Right. It erased the sting of pain and heartache or whatever else you might have experienced in the past. So now it's just going out there and taking care of business on Sunday. I think that's where the Rams' focus will be. They know how big this game is. They want it bad. They know that this could be one and done because of all the moves they made to make this happen. And it's very close to paying off for them. They really bet on a number of players to make this happen and get this done. You brought in Odell Beckham Jr. At first I wasn't on board with that, and then after I saw how he started producing and keeping his cool and keeping his emotions in check, it has paid off. They traded for Matthew Stafford. They got rid of of Jared Goff and bought in Matthew Stafford, who has turned out to be a major upgrade for this team. And then you bring in Von Miller. I mean, I understand the Broncos wanted to get him off the books, in which they did, but you bring in Von Miller, you bring in someone that has Super Bowl experience, that has won before, that knows what it takes to get there. And I think everyone needs that in their locker room, because what that does, that also helps develop chemistry. And you've seen that. So the Rams, they made all these bets on players that's been around the game for a while, and it seems to be working for them.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. So we'll put a bow on this Rams preview. So definitely, once again, appreciate you, Jonathan, for coming through. Social media, and then the upcoming projects and plugs. What you got?
Oh yeah, sure thing. So man, you guys can find me on social media. I'm all over the place. Chris knows where you can find me the most. That's on Facebook. I got my own page there, The Sports Judge. You guys can follow that, give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. I'm a cartoon character on there, so you guys will know where to go. So you guys can find me there, and you guys can also hit me up on Instagram, SportsJudge85, Twitter, SportsJudge85. I'm not really active on Twitter, but I have it anyway. But you can find me there as well. And, as for new stuff that's coming up and new content, it's just going to be new videos on my fan page. I'm going to be bringing some new content. We definitely got some stuff that's coming up at the ASAP Network, because that's where I'm at. I'm part of the ASAP Network, for all those people who don't know out there. The ASAP Network is a fast-growing sports network where we podcast, we write, we host shows, we do all that great stuff, and it's called ASAP because it's All Sports, All Plays Network. I do a show there. I co-host a show with several other podcasters. We have a lot of fun. Chris probably seen it before. It is Just Say the Truth. We do that show every Wednesday and Friday night at 6 p.m. West Coast time here on the West Coast. It's at the ASAP Network. Find it there. And then also sometimes I appear on a show called Fast Break. It's an all NBA show. That's part of the ASAP Network too. That's every Friday night at 7, usually around 7 o'clock. So that's what I'm doing, and writing commentary as the day goes. It's going to be a hectic, crazy week for me because of Super Week in the Super Bowl. But hey, this is what I love to do. I have a lot of fun. I put a lot of time and energy into it, and I couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah. And like, to me, this is the holiday for me. This is the holiday week. It's really, fun. It's just a culmination of another great season and just, everything. Yeah. And Twitter sweet spot. Get on Twitter, man. Get more active on Twitter.
Yeah, I got to get more active. People have been telling me that too.
Yeah. For some odd reason, it's weird because like Facebook, it's cool, but but Twitter, I get more of a response. I think mine more so just because it's a lot of more common interests, like as far as from Twitter versus Facebook is more so like a combination of friends and family. Then also people that are also that you follow, but it's only probably a handful of people that do what we do as far as on my more so than anything. So yeah, Twitter's where it's at. And I definitely hit you up on Twitter. That's where all that stuff it goes down on Twitter. But so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Couch Coach Live. We just got a great slate of content this week coming at you. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Just of it, yeah. So yeah, man, definitely appreciate you again for coming on and talking a little Rams football with me.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Yes, indeed.
Hopefully soon again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so definitely once again, we'll put a bow on this preview with the LA Rams. Thanks for everybody for checking us out, and catch us on the next episode. This has been this Couch Coach Live Super Week, the Rams preview, and we'll catch you on the next episode, and we're out.